There's dirt on my hands, strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law.
Welcome back and thanks for tuning in to part 2 of my trip to Scotland. Deer numbers are increasing so much in Scotland that the government are looking for landowners and deer managers to take up to 50,000 more deer each year. With high numbers of deer, it's possible for them to outgrow and out-eat their environment. This not only damages the environment for them, giving them a lack of food, so survival rates can be a lot lower, especially in winters, but it also damages the environment for all the nature around them and the natural fauna. And without any natural predators left in Scotland, it's up to us to do this managing. So look at this, it is really snowing and it was well over knee height yesterday, so it's going to be a bit harder today. So we're just going to take it easy up on the hill. Today I've packed stoves and everything as well, so we can have a bit of a sit down and a bit of a brew whilst we're doing some glassing, if we can glass in this snow. Because the original plan was to use a thermal drone, which is what they use to manage deer around here and count numbers and do surveys. And it's just trying to get an idea of where they are and give us an extra hand to try and get into them, especially in this sort of weather, but it can't be used basically in this snow. So we're doing it the old-fashioned way, the hard way, which I thoroughly enjoy. Time to loosen off these tender bones and get up there. Got a pretty good view from up here. The snow's stopped for a while. Black grouse. Got some black grouse down in front of us, which is pretty cool. There's actually a lot about this year. You can really see them on top of the snow. Where we shot the second deer last night, me and Jake, was just over there, so it means they're about. And then the forestry plantation. Whereas we're probably going to get set up somewhere here so we can at least have the best of a 360 view if we can. And probably get the brew on. Yeah! Damn it, we hit all the Toblerone last night. One thing I have learned in many hunts with different friends in different cultures is it's just important to stop and take a break and be present in the environment, and it's all too easy to hunt hard and miss all the good bits along the way. After all, it's not about the end product of the hunt, it's about the journey along the way, and in my eyes, that's when you learn the most, before you actually get to the end goal.
Well, I know we struggled to see stuff until we stood on it yesterday, but just looking here,
There's nothing here.
there's nothing here. There's literally nothing as far as the eye can see.
Although a huge lack of deer out in the open today, spirits are still pretty high as a break in the weather shows Scotland probably at its finest. It's amazing to think that we have places like this in the UK, and I must admit I feel pretty lucky being able to be here in this place at this time with the opportunity to also hunt for myself and hunt for meat for my freezer, as well as helping out the local land managers and the ever increasing deer numbers which the government are urging them to take. The pressure of tackling the high deer numbers has meant many of the deer carcasses are being left behind, with the assumption that it is beneficial to the biodiversity of that area. Unfortunately, these benefits are minimal. Deer meat should hold a higher value as a meat and food resource for our country. It's a bit crazy going on. We just had that white out, and now the sun's out and it's absolutely insane here. We're going to make tracks and just try and get into a different position to have a look at some other ground, and hopefully some deer will start moving for us. Might be better waiting for stuff to come to us today instead of us just traipsing around in the snow making a racket.
It's just so quiet. I think we just need to get hunkered down somewhere and just wait, see if anything comes out of the woods.
Let's go do that and get warm again. So he's doing some glassing at the top of this hill, standing on some tree stumps in there, just at the forestry. I think today is just one of those days where you do a lot of glassing, see where everything's at, because we can see all the way up onto the hill. Like, you're talking a fair few miles up onto the hill. We're not seeing anything, no herds of reds or anything. And there's no way we can go through those woods. It's just not realistic. It's all been clear felled, and now the trees have come up, so it's super thick and you're not going to be able to shoot in there. So we're just kind of getting eyes on the ground, seeing what's out there, seeing the best ways to move, because if you do a whole lot of unnecessary moving in this sort of weather and ground, it's just, you're just going to burn yourself out. So we're actually trying to be smart for once, instead of just nail it forward, knock ourselves out. It's one of the most beautiful days I've ever seen, and the snow is just incredible. So we decided to make our way back to the lodge for some lunch, because nothing's moving. The deer are sitting super tight. So we're just going to make a plan at the lodge, have some food. I think we're probably going to come out before it's dark. We're just going to have to sit and wait for them to come to us, especially in this forestry here. And they've had the thermal drone up in front of us looking, and they said there was deer literally 70 meters in front of us, and well, we obviously can't see them because it's so thick, but they're there. So we're gonna come back later and have a go then. Lunchtime. So bellies are full. I'm kind of doing a fairly big hike out to a spot where I've seen a whole load of deer last time I was here, and where Ross seen a whole load last night. So I'm kind of leaving a bit early. I'm going to see if I can get stuck into a good point to sit, and then chuck some layers on, sit up there. But for now, I've got a fair bit to walk. Crested the hill. The fog's just come in, so I can't really see too much. I definitely can't see anything with the binos. I've got the forestry to my left, which I can't really see into either. I'm going to keep making my way this way because I want to be at the other end, at the bottom. So let's go for that. have my back against the fence to leaning on it. I can see a little bit through it, but I can't see any further than out here anyway. So hopefully all the seeker and stuff will come out just into this open here, and I'm just gonna set up here and try not freeze to death. Once in a comfortable position, I get myself used to some shooting positions, as well as mapping out the ranges I'm most likely to shoot in case anything comes out. I'm ready. With the sun going down, the temperatures drop, and a thick, damp mist comes in, making it harder and harder to make out what I'm looking at. The darkness soon starts setting in, and with no signs of movement and a freezing mist attaching itself to everything, I soon call it a night. So it's pretty much dark now, and I'm pretty cold. And I've got a long way to go back. No luck, unfortunately, with deer. But right now, I want a beer eventually, once they get warm. And once I get back to the lodge, beer, shower, fireplace sounds pretty good. Right, so I'm going to get trucking. There's moisture in the air so bad, and it's frozen on everything. Rifle is completely ice, so let's get moving. Well, I've made it back to the lodge. Rather long walk. Absolutely stunning when the mist wasn't there. Met up with Jake and Ross. Looking forward to beer and a shower now. I think the other lads must have got some deer as well, so that'd be pretty cool. Waking up the next day, we get thrown a completely different weather scenario. Boy, is this going to be challenging. So we're just about to head off, and we're going to do a bit of a scouting mission this morning just with the pickup and cover as much ground as possible because we didn't really see a lot yesterday. It's a lot of walking in this terrain. Not to see anything, so we're just going to get out there with the pickup, do a bit of spotting, a bit of scanning with the thermals, just try and pick some heat signatures up. But today the weather has changed. We're going to have 40-mile-an-hour winds and rain. It's already raining, I don't know if you can see that, but it's made the ground pretty icy, and it's going to be pretty noisy, so we're just going to do what we can and hopefully get into something, and if not, we'll sit up again tonight. So let's get the day started and see what's out there. It's not long before we spot a herd of reds kicking and scraping snow for some food beneath. Unable to see exactly where they're located from our position, me and Ross head out for a closer look. Deer over there. I'm going to try and give it a blast to get to them and get a shot. With Jake joining Ross, I set out on what was going to be one of the worst crawls I think I've ever done. I had to close a huge distance in order to get a safe and humane shot. This meant crawling through some of the worst forestry I have ever crawled through. Thick, deep holes full of freezing pools of water, not to mention the wind smashed me in the face. But with a wind like this, I had to get within 150 meters and under. After that crawl and seeing a herd of 30 red deer in front of me, my heart was racing a fair bit. so I had to really rest up before even pulling the trigger. So, 2 down, I've got a stag and a hind. It turns out there must have been nearly 100 deer here. Jake and Ross are at the top of the hill, making their way over. It looks like they went down straight away, but I'm going to go over and check now. After all the commotion, I wasn't ready for what I see next. Close to 150 deer started pouring out from behind the hill.
That was a good stalking. Unfortunately, Ross and I didn't manage to get a shot from the knoll that we were circumnavigating round, but Josh crawled, I think he said the worst crawl of his life, but I think that's probably turned into the best crawl of his life, because that's the result. That's what comes of all the hard work, all the bad weather, punishment, the sweat, the tears. Well, yeah, that was just amazing.
There's going to be a lot more sweating to get these out of here. Yeah. A lot more punishment to come.
Yeah, that's the problem. We've got to get these out now. And there's a stag over here at the back that Josh managed to get as well, about 120 metres. Yeah. So good going. I'm out of breath now, but this is going to be a killer.
Well, I've just got my first Scottish stag, and I'm over the moon. It was punishment crawling, but okay, it's so worth it. And it's going to be worth the punishment, 750 metres of bog, so he has landed in a bog though. Yeah. He's down. Look at that. The hard work always pays off. It's been a hell of a day, but we've all pulled together and we've pulled it off. I'm very happy. Now the hard work begins, as always. It's a bit surreal, to be honest. I've been dreaming of stuff like this for a long time, and I've got great company to do it with. So I'm very, very happy. The hard work makes it all worthwhile. This is one for the memory books. With the deer down, there was no time to rest. The weather was getting worse and the light was getting less. We had to grollick and get these deer out of here. Distance, we've got the Argo cat, so Chloe's is coming with that. I'm going to get these things out here. There's a bit of a crime scene down here at the minute. Stellar effort by all the boys. Thanks to them for helping me out. Otherwise this would have been a bit of a struggle myself. Temperature's dropping, wind's picking up. Let's get this done. Let's get out of here, as I need to celebrate with the beer. So Jake has done his usual mischievousness and covered me in blood, and it might look a bit crazy, but it's tradition. I've shot my first stag in Scotland, an amazing place, amazing people, and tradition is you blood them with the blood of the animal you've just taken. I couldn't be happier. However, it's freezing and that blood is now turned to ice on my face, so it's pretty cold. Don't care, pretty happy. Although only a short distance to the Argo cat, the terrain underfoot was impossible. Bottomless bog up to your waist and frozen snow all around. This turned into one of the hardest extractions we have ever done. Despite the challenge and stress of our situation, the satisfaction and rewarding feelings of carrying out such a feat with a group of good friends was like no other. With the deer in the larder, we look at processing them in the hope they go into human consumption. Unfortunately, the UK market for venison is poor. Much of our venison is exported and eaten in other countries. I strongly believe we should be using this food resource to feed the people in our country. This also helps towards lowering our CO2 and carbon footprint, especially with the current impacts of climate change. Deer meat is such a valuable food resource that is self-sustaining, unlike much of the UK's commercial livestock farming. With the current cost of living crisis, this is your sign to give venison a go. So please support deer conservation and environmental organisations to help care for the land that we live on. As this trip comes to an end, I can't help but thinking how valuable and memorable this experience has been, and I'm so grateful I could have shared it with such great people. And despite the wet, wind and cold, we pulled together, we managed to get a job done our bit for the environment, and we had a lot of fun along the way.
What an amazing day we're having. You can't beat it.
Thank you for watching, and I hope I've imparted a small insight and a little bit of knowledge into the world of deer management. Please keep up the support, and a little like and subscribe goes a long way. I look forward to sharing a lot more of my adventures to come with you. If you have any interest in the subjects I've spoken about, have a look in the description below.